This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Michael Cyril Creighton about Only Murders in the Building. How are you, Michael?
I'm good, Abe. How are you?
Good, good. I've enjoyed watching Howard over the course of this show's three seasons so far. What was the role originally billed as? Was this supposed to be a main character of the series?
It was just I think it was supposed to be a guest star for maybe two episodes total. So season one, I auditioned on tape. No, I didn't audition on tape. I auditioned for a smaller role initially. And then I had worked with Jamie Babbitt on the League of Their Own pilot, who directed the first two episodes of Only Murders. And she showed John Hoffman, our showrunner, the pilot for League of Their Own and said, "What about this guy for Howard?" So I auditioned for Howard on Zoom. And I thought it was going to be two episodes tops. Um, and the funny story is the second episode, the episode in season one where I am in the apartment with Selena and Steve. I had that was 2021, I guess, and I had just gotten over COVID. So to be extra safe, we filmed it separately. And anytime you see us together, it's spliced together and it's seamless. You can't tell, but I thought that was it for me. I thought that was the last episode. I was going to be acting it by myself, and but I was so thrilled that they just kept bringing him back and writing more and more for him. And really, I feel like they started writing for my strengths. Every time I get a script, I learn a new detail about him that I didn't know. So it's been a real crazy joy.
Like most about Howard.
What do I like most about him? I love how extreme his emotions are and how quickly they shift. It's really, I would say, very cathartic to play him because there's a little overlap between Michael and Howard, but I would say he is definitely more extreme than I am, big time. Um, so it's a joy to be on that set and just get to play a range of emotions within three lines. I can have 45 different emotions. Um, I love that about him. I love that there's such a sweetness to him, I think, and such a sharpness at the same time. He often is two things at once, which I think is really exciting to play. Um, I love how much he wants to be part of something, anything, how much he wants to be accepted. I think it's a really universal sort of feeling. And I just think he's so fun. They write him such great material. So I could play him till the day I die.
Or the day he dies, since I think on this show you have to be
Exactly.
careful.
Yes.
It's unlikely everyone's
Exactly.
going to survive to the end.
Exactly.
It's been a fun season three also for him. There's just been so much that he's been able to do. What has it been like just diving further into the character this year?
It was great to see him get a little bit of power and see how quickly that went to his head. I think that first of all, it's a joy to spend most of my time in season three with Martin Short and just be his sidekick. That was really, really fun. But also to see Howard get power and take power is a joy because he becomes a little bit maniacal at times with that whistle. And then to see there's the episode, the Ghost Flight episode, where we get to see him live one of his dreams. We get to see his heart break over not being a performer. Then we get to see him do a big speech on a giant stage and sort of have this really lovely relationship with KT, who they were adversaries at first, but then they came together. That was really satisfying because that arc for him felt like it was very clear and satisfying.
It's fun for everyone, I think, to watch, Martin and Steve and Selena together. Is their dynamic as actors similar to what it is on the show?
Yeah, they're like the characters. I mean, I've watched you know, Steve like try to send an email and Selena be like, "Oh my God, let me take it. Let me help you out." Like technologically, she helps them. They have a great rapport, and they're a lot like the characters. I think they get along in such a deep way and learn from each other, and they really set the tone for the whole show. I always say that like no matter who steps on the set, it could be Meryl Streep, obviously the queen, or a day player who has one line or no lines. The three of them treat everybody with such respect and such kindness that it's really unlike any other set I've been on. It's just so warm and lovely. And that starts with the three of them and their dynamic, and our showrunner, John, who is sort of our shining light.
Who are some other members of the ensemble that you've been excited to work with over the course of the show?
Well, obviously season two, Shirley MacLaine, that was not on my bucket list. I didn't even think that was a possibility. So to act with Shirley MacLaine was pretty incredible. In season three, just to have Paul Rudd and Meryl Streep there from day one was unreal. It was not lost on any of us how special that moment was. And to get to watch Meryl sing that beautiful Sarah Bareilles Pasek and Paul song over and over again all day, every single person in that room. The tears were real, the reactions were real, nobody was acting. But so it was great to have these, legends in the room, but also all of these incredible New York actors that I love and have known or just got to know through the shoot. Jason Vesey, who plays my boyfriend, Allison Gwynn, who was the stage manager, Don Darrell Rivera, Jeremy Shamus, all of the people in the cast. It felt like when you do a play, you sort of create a family very quickly. That's sort of the dynamic of doing theater. And I think the season had that feeling as a cast as well.
Is there anybody that you haven't gotten to work with who is, has a notable role in the show that you'd love to share scenes with in the future?
Anybody I haven't gotten to work with? That's a good question. Let me see. I've been lucky because I've been around most of the people in the cast. You know who I'd love to have a little more time with is just Teddy Kaluka, who plays Lester. I think is so funny and such a great guy. Oh, you know what? I've never gotten to act with James Caberly, who plays Theo. That would be a dream. And there's no bad eggs on the show. Anytime you get the call sheet, whoever you're working with that day, it's always going to be really fun and such a dream. So um, I would work with anybody on this show, not on every show, but on this show, I'm happy to work with everybody.
I'll flag a little spoiler warning for a minute. Do you have any sense of what's ahead for season four and for Howard, aside from what we've obviously seen in the season three finale?
Well, we're like well into shooting season four, so I do know some of what happens. But the way
Can you tell me?
what can I tell you? I can tell you, the show has the ability to reinvent itself every season, yet stay to its core values, if that makes sense. We're exploring a new, we explored theater very much in the last season, and this year we explore something different. There are a lot of amazing guest stars, which they've announced, so I can tell you that. There's like Meryl's coming back, Eva Longoria, Zach Galifianakis, um, Eugene Levy, Molly Shannon. So it's again just a embarrassment of riches as far as the caliber of people that I'm spending time with. I can say that I don't like to know how the show is going to end. The season is going to end. I ask not to know too many details. I like to find them out as I get the scripts, and I've read up to episode 9, and I'm just starting to put it all together in a good way. It was like a very juicy, satisfying mystery so far, and I've really been trying to crack it. And now at episode 9, and maybe have an idea, but I could be completely wrong.
I like that a lot. That's great.
Yeah,
Well, I also saw you in the final season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is
yeah,
another, embarrassment of riches as far as the ensemble, but a totally different role. And I feel like everybody speaks on that show three or four times as fast as Only Murders in the Building.
yes, they do. It is that was an incredible job. That was I how lucky I was that like literally filled the time between season 2 and season 3 of Only Murders. I did that. It was I've never talked that fast in my life, and I'm a really fast talker in general. But it's sort of like on that show, you go to a different part of your brain. It's just speak fast and be funny. It's just like boom, 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 boom. You'd be done with the take, and it's sort of like you'd go back into your body. Um, but that was incredible. I loved that character. I did feel like he was so different than Howard, just in sort of presence and the way he moved, and it was a really fun thing to explore. Plus I loved that group of guys that played the writers. We had a really good time together.
You've done a lot over the course of your career, a lot of TV guest spots and films, some other things. Do you have any real highlights that you wish people were like, oh, I really like Howard from Only Murders. What else should I watch that he's in?
Things that I think people should watch: High Maintenance, which is started as a web series, and there's a very short episode called Helen from when it was a web series, which I think you can still find on HBO Max, that I wrote. That is the introduction to the character that we then later see in the finale of the first season on HBO when it went to HBO. That character I'll love forever. I feel like he sort of changed the trajectory of what kind of roles I was playing. For many years, it was just sort of shop keeps, and that's only satisfying to a point. Working in a thrift store or being someone who works in a clothing store is fun to a point. So that was the first time I got to show sort of real depth and vulnerability, I feel. And then, so I'd say High Maintenance, Spotlight, which is one of the greatest projects I ever worked on for so many reasons. And I had a web series a long time ago called Jack in a Box that I'm really proud of, which I wrote when I was working in a box office. It was, kept me busy from 2009 to 2013. It was about a chubby character actor that worked in a box office. Complete fiction.
Is that available somewhere?
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube still. Yeah, it is on YouTube still.
Awesome. Well, we love awards here at Awards Buzz. Is there a show or a performance that's on now that you've watched recently that you feel is particularly awards worthy?
Oh, yes, yes. The woman, I think it's Jessica Gunning, or is it Jennifer Gunning? It's Jennifer Jessica, and I feel bad.
Yeah, Jessica.
Uh,
Jessica.
Jessica, that performance, Baby Reindeer, everybody's talking about it, obviously, but that particular performance, the minute she came on screen, I sort of sat up and I was riveted every time she was on that show. I thought she was incredible. That's besides all the incredible people on Only Murders, different, different. But that actress blew me away.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, for your time. I'm excited to see season 4 and to check out this web series.
Yeah. Oh, thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.